Luzon and Samar. The PNP is in full alert as Luzon braces for the wrath of the typhoon. The DSWD assures the public that it's ready to launch relief operations to areas that will bear the brunt of the tropical cyclone. The National Police is filing charges against the Metro's top cop for violating quarantine rules. And one mayor in Pangasinan might soon find himself on the same boat as the NCRPO chief, as a video of his supposed birthday celebration goes viral. As we speak, Typhoon Ambo batters Bicol and eastern Visayas. Strong winds accompanied by heavy rain damaged houses and blew off galvanized roofs in Albay. Same situation was experienced earlier today in eastern Visayas, where Ambo first made landfall. Ambo also damaged crops and toppled trees in the province. While in some parts of northern Samar, torrential rain brought by Ambo has caused flash floods. With signal number 3 hoisted in Albay due to Typhoon Ambo, let's check the latest updates with Albay PDRRMO Chief Cedric Daep, who is on the line with us right now. Good evening, Sir Cedric. Kamusta na ho ang lagay ng panahon ninyo dyan sa Albay?
Yes, good evening. So far, we're still waiting for the approaching typhoon. For now, there is rainfall from time to time, but not sustained yet.
Okay. Sir, so at this stage, ano ho ang projected ninyo na magiging number of evacuees ninyo dyan sa Albay?
Ang target namin for evacuation, at least 300,000. But for now, we're just I think we're just realizing some 15,000 individual evacuated.
Okay, so marami-rami yun. Sir, how many evacuation centers are you designating in Albay? And at the same time, how are you going to maintain social distancing? At what capacity ninyo, at what capacity magpa-function itong mga evacuation centers na to?
Yeah, we're actually implementing complex disaster combination of typhoon operation procedures and integration of COVID-19 protocols, meaning we are doing expanded evacuation utilizing school facilities, churches, and even private houses. But applying the COVID protocol, we are requiring them to be using masks while in the evacuation centers and observing spacing, physical spacing, by way of utilizing only 50% of the capacity of the school facilities. Meaning, if we were using normally 8 families per classroom, this time they're only allowed about 4 families.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sir, do you have enough relief goods on standby? Do you have enough funds for this as well?
Yeah, talking about logistics and relief, we are using the COVID logistics since we are considering the same recipient for COVID and Typhoon Ambo.
All right, thank you for those updates. That was Albay PDRRMO Chief Cedric Daep. The Philippine National Police remains on full alert as Typhoon Ambo batters parts of the country while a global health pandemic is ongoing. PNP Chief Archie Gamboa says he has directed all unit commanders to closely work with respective disaster risk reduction management councils to ensure public safety in areas affected by Typhoon Ambo amid the coronavirus crisis. He says the PNP will continue to strictly enforce quarantine guidelines in these areas. All PNP response operations for Typhoon Ambo shall observe the minimum health standards such as wearing of face masks, gloves, social distancing, regular washing of hands, and other measures. Ambo is the first typhoon to enter the country this year. Typhoon Ambo continues to barrel across the Bicol region. The DSWD says it has enough supply of relief goods to help those who will be affected by the country's first typhoon. Greg Gregorio has more on this story.
The national government assures the public that it's prepared for Typhoon Ambo. DSWD Undersecretary Danilo Pamonag says the department has 242 million pesos in its coffers for disaster relief operations. He adds the agency has an inventory of 413,000 units of family food packs worth 184 million pesos. Add to that food items on standby amounting to 271 million pesos and non-food items worth almost $500 million pesos. DSWD field offices have also been instructed to work with LGUs on operations.
Ang mga field offices ng DSWD ay makipag-coordinate po sa mga LGUs para sa deployment at augmentation ng resources para may siguro na may sufficient na provision of goods sa mga areas na tutuguhin ng bagyong Ambo.
On May 11, the Department of Interior and Local Government has activated its upland LISTO protocols for LGUs that will be affected by the year's first typhoon. What this means is that local disaster risk reduction and management offices been directed to convene and prepare for severe weather disturbances such as Ambo. The protocol also includes assessing evacuation centers and, if necessary, conduct preemptive evacuations. Malaya adds they've stressed on local leaders the importance of observing public health controls while responding in light of the coronavirus crisis.
Kung kakailanganin man pong magkaroon ng evacuation, ay kailangan po masunod pa rin ang ating social distancing, may personal space, one-way entrance and exit, may toilet and sanitation facilities, waste collection and management, and the presence of infirmaries, among others. Sisiguraduhin po ng DILG na yung mga COVID-19 centers natin ay hindi gagamitin bilang evacuation centers.
Typhoon Ambo is expected to cut across Bicol region before moving up along the eastern border of southern Tagalog. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
We'll pause for a short break, but when the big story returns, NCRPO Chief divulged Sinas' recent birthday celebration could be one for the books. PNP is readying charges against him and his guests for violating quarantine procedures. And a mayor in Pangasinan is on the hot seat after videos of his birthday celebration went viral online. I'm Jess De Los Santos and you're watching The Big Story. Maynilad and Manila Water welcome the NWRB's decision to raise water allocation from Angat Dam to MWSS for the rest of the month. They say that with a flow rate of 48 cubic meters per second, water interruptions could be prevented. Both water concessionaires agree the extra 2 cubic meters per second boosts supply equivalent to an additional 150,000 to 160,000 customers for the two companies. While demand is normally higher during summer, the lockdown has intensified water consumption in residential areas. According to Maynilad, domestic consumers used up as much as 5% more than the usual demand in the past few weeks, which affected supply to around 10% of its customers. Meanwhile, Manila Water says demand from household consumers went up by 7% in April and 12% in the first half of May.
Hindi na po namin inaasahan na magkakaroon ng water interruption, although para po masiguro po namin na kahit paano naman tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung ating pagko-conserve ng water, tinutuloy pa rin po namin yung tinatawag na pressure management. Ito pong additional na 2 CMS ay parte na rin po ng preparasyon dun sa pag-shift kung matutuloy yung pag-shift ng Metro Manila sa General Community Quarantine dahil nga po magbubukas na nga po yung ibang mga commercial establishments. So inaasahan din po namin na tataas yung demand.
Pagpasok ng modified ECQ natin, slowly, no, dahil may mga government offices na probably magsisipasukan, mga private na establishments na papasok. So we need to prepare for an increase in the demand.
Coronavirus infections in the country continue to climb. The Health Department reported more than 250 new cases on Thursday. Almost 3/4 are from the metro. Total COVID cases nationwide jumped to almost 11,900. There were also 18 new fatalities. The death toll is now approaching 800. Almost 90 people recovered from the disease overnight. So far, more than 2,300 patients have gotten better from the disease. The World Health Organization warns we might not totally eradicate COVID-19. WHO officials say SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes the disease, could become endemic like HIV, meaning it could just linger and never go away. That's why they say there should be a massive collaboration among nations to come up with multilateral systems to fight the virus. The United Nations Global Health Arm admits nobody really knows when the pandemic will be over. The warning comes as countries started easing lockdown rules. Based on data compiled by Johns Hopkins University, more than 4.3 million people across the globe have been infected with the coronavirus, and it has killed almost 300,000 people worldwide. Several residents of Rizal are not happy that the ECQ will be lifted in the area soon, but the provincial government insists they are ready to transition to GCQ. Shaila Francisco has the report.
With Rizal Province moving under general community quarantine starting Saturday, residents can't help but get excited. Hill, for one, is hoping that this would mean additional customers for his fruit stall in Antipolo.
Excited sa aking business kasi ang hirap mag-move ng business, hindi ako makabili hindi ako makapunta ng Q-Mart kasi doon ako namimili. So pag GCQ, so makakalabas na ako. Ang tumal lang negosyo. Ang mga tao limited ang galaw nila. Kasi halos karamihan walang trabaho.
Still, other residents would have wanted an extension of the ECQ in the province.
Sa buong Rizal, mas madaming case dito sa Antipolo. So, siguro mas magandang i-extend na lang siya para rin safe lahat ng tao.
Currently, there are 393 COVID-19 cases in Rizal, considered among the highest in Calabarzon. But the Rizal provincial government claims infection rates are already declining.
For the past few days, yung mga cases natin, yung mga new cases, 0, 0, or minsan 1 lang. Pero usually 0, 0. Tapos, ang recovery rate po ng ating probinsya, napakataas, 125 cases na po ng COVID ang nakarecovered at ang active cases na lang po namin is 200.
The provincial government assures residents they are ready to transition to GCQ. Checkpoints will still be in place, while minimum health standards such as wearing of face masks and physical distancing will still be enforced.
Pag sinabi mong GCQ, halos same pa rin naman, no? There are certain establishments lang that will be allowed, no, na mag-open. So, yun po ang imo-monitor natin. Magpapatulong po tayo sa ating kapulisan upang makatulong po natin sa pagmo-monitor ng mga ganitong establishments para ma-practice pa rin po yung ating tinatawag na social distancing, yung pagsusuot ng mga masks, of course, yung iba pang guidelines.
But some residents are asking the government for financial help as they are still unable to work in Metro Manila, which is under modified ECQ. The acting governor is now appealing to the national government to include Rizal residents under the second tranche of the social amelioration program.
Dapat natin dandaan ang NCR po, ang Metro Manila po. Kami sa lahat ng probinsya sa Calabarzon, we are yung pinakadikit, no? Contiguous. We are yung closest sa proximity. In ilang hakbang lang, nasa Metro Manila ka na. Kaya talagang marami sa aming kababayan ang nagtatrabaho po sa NCR.
But according to Malacanang, only residents of ECQ areas will be entitled to the second tranche of the financial aid. So far, 93% of the beneficiaries of the social amelioration program in Rizal have received subsidy. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.
The University of the Philippines in Diliman is converting a section of its gymnasium into a quarantine site. Shaila Francisco is back to tell us more.
Starting next week, part of the UP gym will serve as a step-down community isolation facility. Compared to other quarantine facilities, this will house COVID-19 patients who are recovering and are awaiting a second negative test result before they are allowed to go home.
This is in support of the quarantine facilities that serve those that are still positive, so that we can free up bed space in the quarantine facilities for COVID positive patients.
The facility can accommodate around 100 recovering patients from the UP community, including faculty, students, alumni, and residents living inside the complex. The UP College of Human Kinetics says the program is a good way of putting the gym to good use while there are still no classes.
Nakita naman namin yung value and significance, lalo na in serving the UP community. This is probably a barangay size of around 25 to 30,000. So malaki na rin in terms of numbers. Wala namang face-to-face class sa university natin ngayon, dito sa UP ngayon. We saw it fit that one of our facility be transformed into a quarantine facility.
The program is spearheaded by the Anti-COVID Task Force, or ACTAS 1PH, composed of UP Alpha Sigma Fraternity Alumni Association as well as other UP alumni. Majority of the equipment inside the facility was provided by Maynilad. These include around 1.7 million pesos worth of beddings and mattresses, hygiene kits, washing machine, shower and toilet facilities, and 100 isolation tents.
Tents are still needed as a quarantine facility kasi as you know, yung air circulation, di ba, hindi natin maa-avoid. Without the tents, hindi siya maiiwasan na may mga possible na mga matransmit pa rin, may transmission without the tents. But with the tents, kung sining pasyenteng nasa loob lang, and sometimes yun ang inaalala ng mga pasyente, di ba, na yun nga, pagka nag-test positive kasi sila, ayaw nila syempreng makahawa, especially to their families. So to know that there is a quarantine place such as this for those who test negative already would be a comfort for the patients already na meron silang matutuluyan bago sila makauwi sa kanilang mga bahay.
Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.
These are the other big stories today. NCRPO Chief Debold Sinas and other police officials who attended his mañanita may be facing criminal charges. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the PNP will file a criminal case against the police officials tomorrow for violation of quarantine ordinance. Sinas's mañanita drew widespread criticism not just in the Philippines but also abroad. International news organizations such as CBS News and the South China Morning Post carried the story of how Sinas and his men held a birthday gathering despite strict restrictions on mass gatherings in the metro. After photos of Sinas' birthday celebration went viral online, a mayor in Pangasinan is in the hot seat for practically the same thing. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque urges the public to report to the DILG local officials who violate quarantine rules.
Kung meron po kayong mga reklamo sa mga taong gobyerno na lumalabag sa quarantine protocols natin, iparating niyo po sa DILG dahil ang DILG naman po mag-iimbestiga kung ang mga rinireklamo ay mga lokal na opisyales. Aaktuhan po yan dahil seryoso po tayo. No? Quarantine po, yan lang ang pamamaraan para mapabagal ang pagkalat ng sakit. And of course, we will lead by example.
The Interior Department orders at least 43 mayors to explain their failure to distribute cash aid on time. That's despite the 2 extensions granted to them by the national government to complete the rollout of the Social Amelioration Program. In a press briefing earlier today, the agency said it has issued show-cause orders to these local chief executives.
Kulang po kami sa mga investigador. Since ito naman po ay graft and corrupt case, diretso na po ito sa ating CIDG. Ang CIDG po ay araw-araw nagsasampa ng kaso laban sa mga tiwaling barangay officials na binulsa ang Social Amelioration Fund ng kanilang mga nasasakupan sa kanilang mga barangay.
The Kapamilya Network welcomes the approval of House Bill 6732, which grants ABS-CBN a provisional franchise until October 2020. The media company likewise assured the government that it's ready to respond to issues thrown against the network, its owners, management, and employees. The NTC has finally apologized to Congress for failing to notify lawmakers on its decision to issue a cease and desist order against ABS-CBN. In its 3-page response to the show-cause order of the House Committee on Legislative Franchises, the agency maintains that its refusal to grant a provisional license to the network at that time was the right move. The NTC explained that had it done so, the agency would have encroached on the constitutional power of Congress to grant franchises. Typhoon Ambo maintains its strength as its eye wall hovers the vicinity of Catarman, northern Samar. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 155 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 255 kph. Areas under tropical cyclone wind signals are flashed on your screens. And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250. Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News. Good evening.